Hi, let's discuss about global warming. You can see that Earth has warmed at an unprecedented rate over the hundred of years. Over the last 2 decades, since 1992, 2016 has been the warmest years, one of the warmest years on record. So you can see there is a translation in Hindi too. You can take help of that. I would prefer to teach in English. You can see the Hindi. Let us come to the 2016 data. It was the hottest year on record. Extreme weather condition. Because of how can you determine extreme weather conditions? Due to wildfires, I mean strong tropical storms. And what is global warming then? Global warming, you can see here. Global warming is an average increase in the Earth's temperature over a period of time, and this causes climate change. And global warming and climate change is directly related. You can see the energy which is coming from the sun is called the solar radiation. This solar radiation, only some parts of it are utilized by the earth. We need solar energy. We need it for it is a good source of renewable source of energy, and but most of it is reflected by the clouds and the atmosphere. The radiation that is given out at night time, it is called terrestrial radiation. Terrestrial radiation is what? It is given out by the earth at night. It is this system of balance is maintained by the earth. Now let's see why global warming is there. Global warming is the average increase in the earth's atmosphere. As I told you, that it increases because it due to many factors we will learn. It is increase in temperature of the earth's surface and increase in the troposphere. Troposphere is the second, and it is the lowest layer of our atmosphere, is the lowest, and here all type of climatic change occurs here. All types of we can feel, because troposphere is the lowest layer, you know and we come to global warming. What are the causes of global warming? Global warming can occur from a variety of causes. You can see that it is both human and natural. What are the human causes? Human causes, you see, I give you a pretty simple example. Increased emissions of the you can see that it is industrialization. We are industrializing ourselves, so we need more energy. So we need more energy to see, so there is increase in the emissions. And each factory, you cannot expect a factory to function without emitting greenhouse gases, so it will increase the earth's temperature and it will cause global warming. So what is actually global warming? You can see the word global means the whole earth or whole universe, and warming means the increase in temperature. So increase in temperature occurs due to greenhouse gases if we consider the human activities. And again, if we consider the natural activities, we can see that global warming is also caused by volcanoes, if the emissions are there, because emissions of greenhouse gases. What are these greenhouse gases actually? These greenhouse gases are nothing but CO2, NO2 and SO2 and dust particles. You can see a picture is given, you can see how well. So this is our industrialized area and it is causing air pollution. Now what is the impact of global warming? Global warming leads to rise in sea level. It leads to melting of ice. If there is increase in temperature, there will be melting of ice, and it will change the rainfall patterns. Because you see, due to global warming, if you see El Nino and La Nina, these are reversed. The Peruvian cold currents, this Pacific waters are warmed because of global warming, and it causes drastic drought in India. Drought are caused, so this is El Nina and La Nina. I will explain in other videos, but this is, you remember, El Nina and La Nina. This is nothing but this changes. It causes drought in India, and it is not good for our crops. We are an agrarian country, and most of our farmers depend on monsoon. And if this direction of monsoon will be reversed due to some difference in pressure, this is an unusual event. So this also leads to change in rainfall patterns. You can see the wildfires in Australia, for example. You take, so increased likelihood of extreme events like flooding, hurricanes. And another impact is melting. I have told you, melting of glaciers. In glaciers or in the polar regions, there lives many animals and plants were suited. And if this is climate change, the rate of climate change will increase. They will find it increasingly difficult to survive under the changed climatic conditions. And you see loss of plankton due to warming of seas and bleaching of coral reefs. Bleaching of coral reefs is a process by which, the coral reefs go to the Great Barrier Reef. If you see, it has been undergoing change, and the barrier reefs has been cut. And because this is causing bleaching, and this is called transformation. And this transformation is not helping, because if coral reefs are dying, then the beauty or tourism, for example, take in Africa, if they are setting up so many new industries, that will cause degradation of the environment. So you see, the environmental degradation is also linked to climate change. Now come the greenhouse effect. What is greenhouse effect? Now I told you about terrestrial radiation. Terrestrial radiation is the amount of heat that is given out by the earth. And so there is increase in, I told you about greenhouse gases, what are those, and I have also told you about the terrestrial radiation. Due to this, there are some gases, like the greenhouse gases only capture this terrestrial radiation, which is given out by the earth at night time, and they cause the warming of the earth. And it also helps in maintaining a good temperature. Otherwise, the night temperature that had been so cold, if the greenhouse gases would have not existed. So this is good, but anything more than good is always bad. Excess of anything is bad. You have heard this. So this is in case of the greenhouse effect. If the gases increase, the effect will drastically increase, and it will increase the temperature of the earth beyond extremes. You see, directly falling sun rays, just as the greenhouse that keeps the air warm inside. Greenhouse, is like a uh, glass glass container in which the plants are kept. These plants are useful in the winter areas where you need heat, energy, sunlight. It is not there. So in this winter conditions, especially in the polar regions, if you want to grow crops, you need this effect. So it is an artificial establishment. You can compare it with the earth, and it helps in cooling and warming, as I told you what role it plays in night time and during daytime too. And according to estimate, in the absence of greenhouse gas, see, I have told you, how would we survive without greenhouse gas? It is important. Frozen, lifeless planet will be there if we didn't have greenhouse gases. Now see, greenhouse, I told you, a chamber, see, in which plants are grown in cold countries. See this same. This is the picture. You can see on your screen. Now there is continued increase in temperature even when the outside temperature, it protects plants from frost. And if there is extreme winter conditions, that they will cause the frosting, and we know frosting is not good for any plant. And so greenhouse saves it from degrading. What is greenhouse effect? You see that there are glass slabs. You can see the suns always have the shortest wavelength, and the radiation which is going out, this is of long wavelength. Okay, this long wavelength is captured by the glass. This is allowed to enter. This is infrared glass, and infrared cannot pass through this glass. Short waves can pass, but this long waves are infrared, which are again emitted after absorption, so they cannot pass and get stuck, and this is the process of heating of the chamber. And here you can see many plants are there. They will grow with sufficient temperature. What is greenhouse effect? You know, plays a crucial role in making the earth habitable. Now if we see the human generated, you can see a pic is given here. You see this one. Yes, I got it. Here you see the atmosphere, the absorbed by the earth's atmosphere, the sun rays. These are the sun rays, and some escape radiation, some are absorbed by the clouds, some get destroyed. See, this is the age of the atmosphere. This is troposphere until to the clouds are there. And now the radiations, you see their CFCs, the deforestation, they always give up CO2, and this cars also CO2, SO2 and other chemicals. This factories too, when it doesn't have proper filters, it will cause destruction. So these gases are greenhouse gases. This capture the sun rays, and it cause heating of the earth. You see, heating of the earth. Natural greenhouse effect, you see there is subtle difference between natural greenhouse effect and human enhanced greenhouse effect. So in case of natural greenhouse effect, you see the border or the thickness of the greenhouse gases, which is the blanket around the earth, it is more or less and most probably suitable. See the size, you can see the same gases are there here, but when we increase industrialization and other activities, this cover will increase, and this will lead to less heat escape and more re-emitted heat, more radiated heat. Solar radiation is the same in both the case, but it's differing because of the interference of man-made activities. You can say that. What are the gaseous components of atmosphere? Natural, anthropogenic and that absorbs and re-emit infrared radiations. Infrared radiations are the radiations that are coming from the sun. Now you can see this greenhouse gases and their sources. You can see it is measured by an equation. CO2 is measured in 1 million metric tons, and 1 metric ton is equal to 100 kilograms. And it is, see the gases which are there. See from we will see the sources of this, each of these gases from this. It is a pretty easy table that has been given. From carbon dioxide, where from, what is the source of carbon dioxide? You see, these are both human, natural, anthropogenic factors. Anthropogenic means human caused. So transportation from vehicles, you know, vehicular emission is one of the greatest sources of emission in our country, especially India and other areas too. Transportation, fossil fuel consumption, coal and crude oil. Now you see the CH4, methane from agriculture. You know, in Delhi side there has been some slash and burn agriculture types. This is also contributing, and agriculture emits CO2. Sometimes this helps agricultural plants. More CO2 means, you know, the plants that are there, plants utilize CO2 for photosynthesis. This is required, but if it crosses a particular limit, then it will become harmful. You see landfills, you know, many dust and many garbage are deposited in a plain area, and this produces dust. It also converts into a fertile land after some time, although there are different types of landfills. Now we come HFs, hydrochlorofluorocarbons. Hydrofluorocarbons are used in air conditioners, refrigerators. Okay, so we need to decrease, and we need not to increase its consumption in order to become environmentalist or aware in that sense. Nitrous oxide also comes from cars and manufacturing industries. SF6 is sulfur hexafluoride and it comes from the electrical transmission and magnesium products. So these are the sources. These are very technical and physics, and it is mainly related to physics. Physics students will understand it more clearly. So there is no depth required as far as this climate change is required. You need to know the gases. So these are the main gases. There's a water vapor, carbon dioxide, methane, nitrogen oxide, nitrous oxide, N3O is also there, SO3 is also there, SO2 is also there. Many other few examples have been given. Black carbon is the most common because you see, carbon is required in every aspect of our living, whether it's industry, agriculture, or any other sector. Now let's come to how far has contributed to the. According to estimates, the between 35 and 25% of black carbon comes from China and India, because you see in rural areas it has coal is used for burning for household consumption too. They make food on this and they do not use LP. So there has been schemes that has been allotted to promote the use of LPG and not use coal. Climate forcings. Climate forcings are factors in climate change that either increase or decrease the effect related to climate change. Positive forcings are excessive greenhouse gases warm the earth. Negative are actually the effects of aerosols and volcanic eruptions actually cool the earth. Now, how it's cool? Here you can see there is ice ocean interaction, because see, this is ice and this is ocean, they are interacting. So there are different types of interaction. You see this solar energy is interacting with both water and plants and every living things, you can say. In short, it is living things, and they are just clouds causing precipitation. This is called water cycle. So you can see also land air interaction. Biosphere is what? Biosphere is the middle path or of the hydrosphere and lithosphere and atmosphere. So positive forcing, both positive and negative are bad for the earth. Positive means excessive greenhouse gases which negatively impact the earth. Global warming, climate change is caused. And negative forcings are effects of most aerosols and volcanic eruption which actually cool the earth. Now what are aerosols? Atmospheric aerosols include volcanic dust, soot from the combustion of fossil fuels, particles from burning trees and forests, and mineral dust. Dark carbon rich particles such as soot from diesel engines absorb sunlight and warm the atmosphere. There is soot from the diesel engines. Diesel engines are used in the railways too, automobiles, and this lead to the carbon emission, increase the temperature, and warm the atmosphere. Conversely, exhausts from high sulfur coal and oil produce light aerosols. This oil produce light aerosols. This is some of the exhausts that reflect sunlight back to space. So here we have read now that the climate forcings or the negative forcings, in case of that we have seen that it cools the earth actually. That is also not very good. So how does it cool? See, high sulfur coal and oil produce lights would reflect light. They reflect light. They have a property of reflecting the light, and they during volcanic eruption the same thing happens. These aerosols are nothing but oil produce and the high sulfur emissions from the interior of the earth. Now see what happens during volcanic emissions. Large volcanic emissions can eject enough ash into the atmosphere, and to a lower temperature the volcanic eruptions also emit this high sulfur coal and oil producing aerosols. So this too helps in the cooling, because if they settle in the atmosphere this lower the temperature for a year or more. So we know the devastating effects of volcanic eruption. The long-term effects remain for a much longer time. Now come the global warming potential. So the global warming describes the impact of each gas on global warming. What is the warming potential of each gas? It is different for different gases. Two more characteristics of the CAG. What is CAG? Is that greenhouse gases? I have just written the short form. It absorbs the energy, preventing it from escaping. What is preventing and how what is preventing? You see the solar energy which is coming, and this is getting out of the earth through the terrestrial radiation, but it remains in the atmosphere. How long? What is the power of the gas? You can say, if we are to denote this way, the power of the gas to let the energy remain in the atmosphere for a long time. This is called warming potential. We say now the student has this potential. So you have potential. The higher the potential, the dangerous the gases. You see now. Global warming potential. Next is this. Global warming potential for a gas is a measure of total energy that a gas absorbs over a particular period of time compared to carbon dioxide. Compared to carbon dioxide, what is the lifetime of a gas and what is the warming potential? How we will know is with regard to carbon dioxide. Gases with higher GWP, which is global warming potential. This is the same here, global warming potential with comparing to carbon dioxide. You see the chart this is given, you can know it for your understanding. With reference to carbon dioxide, it is calculated. You can stop the screen and take a screenshot. The main thing I want to tell here is gases with higher GWP absorb more energy per pound than gases with lower GWP, obviously because more GWP, more is the potential to absorb gases, and the period is same 100 years. So now comes the topic, receding glaciers, a symptom of global climatic change. You see, 150 years, this is an interesting fact, and this is the truth. It is a harsh reality. You accept it or not. 150 years ago, there were 147 glaciers in Glacier National Park, but today there are only 37 glaciers. You will write in the comment section, where is this Glacier National Park located? You can view it. Glaciers all over the Himalayas and Alps are retreating and disappearing. There are almost 160,000 glaciers in polar regions and high mountain environments where there is polar region. Therefore, researchers are using this. How this we can tell that what are the number of glaciers through remote sensors. It's a technique, and it is a survey process, routine survey over a period of time. You can see it is varying over reasons. What scientists prefers or what they think, that depends on that. And so this leads to this gives us a data about the climate change, especially the melting of glaciers here, you can see. Now we come to the change of events. You see, what is this change is specifically, climate change. Climate change due to global warming. Climate change due to global warming. You see, what are the changes here? The change of events. Combustion of fossil fuels due to human activities. Human activities into this world. You see, there has been increasing urbanization, industrialization. There has been new techniques developed. There has been technological improvement. But the dark side is excessive use of this technology. Yes, we need to. We have so much. The population is so much, and it is just exploding. So there are many human activities to sustain our economies. So this produces greenhouse gases because of fossil fuels. We are almost dependent on more on fossil fuels, which is non-renewable in nature, and we are not able to harness the non-renewable energy properly. increase of greenhouse gases. The greenhouse gases, there has been increase in greenhouse gases, and this has led to global warming. I told you how. Now this has led to climate change, and it is impacting everyone. There has been melting of glaciers and rise in the sea level. There has been submergence of the low-lying areas because if the so flooding of these areas and emergence of low-lying coastal areas is a trouble for the coastal people. It is expected that there are many so large-scale destruction also causes because of this ecosystem. This ecosystem is affected by climate change. We humans too cannot adapt to this climate change. It takes time, and this rapid climate change will lead to destruction of many species who could not survive otherwise. So there has been a struggle among survival. There is a struggle. So this is very bad impact of the climate change, and humans are too undergo. I expect, I hope not so, but that's reality. Humans are going to undergo the sixth mass extinction. We need to be climate aware. So what are Himalayan glaciers? You see, Himalayan glaciers, and this is climate change, impact on climate change. Himalayas glaciers have been retreating. Study of the last glaciers of upper Rishiganga, Uttarakhand, Nanda Devi, Ramni banks. So these are the banks of Nanda Devi glacier lost 10% of their mass in the 3 decades. So the degradation is so fast. South facing glaciers are faster receding because of faster than north facing because of long exposure. If we see India's map. So here we will see that. So this is very bad map. Still, for explanation, I was asking. So this is subtropical region. This is tropical region. So here the glaciers, this tropical region, these glaciers are more in the subtropical. I wanted to clearly one thing that in the tropical regions we get the direct rays of the sun, but in the subtropical regions we get the slanting rays. So of course the delay has been in case of the northern parts. That's why it's the north facing ones, because their exposure to radiation is small, and south facing glaciers are receding fast. Wow. Now how does this change takes place in the Himalayas? There has been shrinking glaciers from lakes at the mouth. So there are increase in the number of lakes. If you see, if the glaciers are melting very fast, because the only source of the lakes as far as the Himalayas are concerned are from the glaciers in Himalayas itself. There has been avalanche and landslides. We know the damage caused by the climate change. There is glacial damming. Glacial damming is so you will have to tell me what is glacial damming in the comment section. This is related. A hint is that the glacial outburst with regard to Uttarakhand floods and in 2013, 14 and 22. This year we had one. So we will see this 3 to 4 things, definition and understanding the upcoming parts. Glacial surges. It is a sudden forward slip motion of glacial ice, can occur up to 20 meters a day. It is a movement of the ice. It is slower than avalanche, but they can overturn Piedmont village. Piedmont villages means the villages at the foothills of the mountains or at the foothills can lead to widespread damage, because in the foothills we have people living, a population, their houses, property, lives, the agriculture and other transport systems. We know what landslides cause. The volcanic or geothermal activity in the midst of ice fields. If there is a volcanic eruption in where there is ice fields are the large areas covered with ice. These are fields. This will cause floods because there will be a rapid melting. These are called ice in Iceland. These are most common. So this have named as glacier bursts. These are exceptionally high and more damaging. Next is GLOF. GLOF, let's learn about it. Most of the glaciers are receding because they have also have debris cover. Most in India and other places it leads to formation of more glacial lakes. In Himalaya especially because it is the ultimate source of glaciation in our country. When glaciers melt, the water of the melted glaciers they accumulate in the lakes, and this leads to moraine dams, which is made up of ice, sand, pebbles, ice residue. Because from melting, not only the rocks also come, na rocks plus ice they travel down, and they travel down the mountains, and they are collected in a way. You can see here. This is the picture for more clarification. The glaciers retreat due to rising temperature and snow melts, but the debris remains. The debris leads to formation of a lake. So this is the way how a lake is formed, because water is retreating in a way, but the debris they are not retreating as fast, so they get collected and lead to the formation of a dam. This debris dam this dam releases millions of cubes of water in a short period, and this leads to flash floods down the stream. And this event is called as the glacial lake outburst flooding that occurs due to water dam by the glacier. This is related to the glacial damming, which I have asked you to know and write down in the comment section. But you should know, give another example. You see, this is the lake, which is an example. This is the glacial lake. I have told you how it is formed. Let's come to the recent news. Recent, not it has been a few months. Uttarakhand glacial was to see glacial lake outburst. This is an example we can see. Experts point out to climate change. You see, the glacial melt on Nanda Devi flooded the Rishiganga in Uttarakhand and washed away at least two hydro power plants. If you see here, no image is given, I'm very sorry, and see the 3.2 megawatt Rishiganga hydro electric power plant and Tapovan project on Dhauli Ganga, a tributary of the Alaknanda. And this is the main event that was caused, and why it was caused we will see. Now, these were concerns that excess water would travel downstream and threaten villages. The excess because of the glacial melt, the debris is remaining, but the glacial lakes that have a tendency to outflow. This is a point of concern for the hydro projects on the river. They have attributed that glacial melt and global warming has caused this. It has the glacial retreat. What it has done, it has decreased the stability of the mountain slopes, and this assessment was done by the report UN Intergovernmental Panel on Climatic Change. There is also high confidence that the number of glaciers will continue to increase in the coming decades, and the outbursts will become so common. It's a sad, but it's a reality, and we know how it occurs. Lake boats can be easily triggered. This is clearly mentioned in the report. Climate change has been erratic. It has caused summer snowfall, rainfall, warm winters, and this warmer winters, this increasing temperature, global warming, it also not leaves the winter season. The winter season has shortened up. In some places it has increased, some places it has decreased, and this erratic climate change is affecting the thermal profile of ice. Means the rate at which the ice melts has been increasing. Earlier, the temperature ranged between -6 to 20 degrees, and it is -2. And at this -2 degree, the ice easily melts. So it has decreased. So now, if a little increase in temperature will lead to more melting of ice. So this is our chapter. Now you see the when the hills shake. Ha!